Welcome back, guys, to another video. This one's a little bit more different from my other videos. If you have watched my videos before, I do a lot of Minecraft and other gaming content, but today is different. Today I'm doing a geography video or geography video. I always have a hard time saying geography for some odd reason. And this one's more about highways, if you haven't seen the title already. And I want to give this one a shot, a little bit different. I want to talk about America's best beltways, or sometimes called ring roads or loops. Now, before I get into more about this video, thank you for clicking this one. Please subscribe, please like. The video hasn't started yet, but pretty early to say. I'm doing something completely different for this channel if you haven't known. I'm going to say that a lot. I have a script, I got everything going well. So, yeah. So, what is a beltway? Which you may be asking. To put it in simple terms, a beltway is a highway that goes around a city. Pretty easy, oh my goodness, pretty easy to understand. The interstate system is full of them. I will put my best 5 beltways that I found extraordinary with complex interchanges and play a major part for the city or metropolitan and how it bypasses the main route through the city or around the city. The beltway must be a full loop. No 3/4 loops, but a full 4 out of 4 loop, 100% done loop. This video was very hard to choose from only 5 beltways, so some of your favorites may not be on this list. However, hopefully my list can convince you to like mine more. So, like I said, not the easiest list, so no hate, okay? No hate. Just want to make that clear. So my number 5 pick to go for number 5 is Interstate 295 in Florida. Interstate 295 is a beltway around central Jacksonville, Florida. It is an auxiliary route of I-95 and consists of 2 segments, the West Beltway and the East Beltway, with I-95 serving as the dividing line between the two. It is 60.864 miles long. It helps commuters commute from suburb to suburb, and it helps with Interstate 95 and Interstate 10 connections. The beltway was constructed in stages over a 39-year span, 1967 to 2006, with the western portion fully opened by 1977 and the eastern portion completed 29 years later. So old and new, pretty much. Interstate 295 has some express lanes. Express lanes were added to a 5-mile section of Interstate 295 between State Route 9B at Deer Creek and State Route 202, J. Turner Butler Boulevard at Windy Hill. The beltway was expanded again by 2 12-foot wide managed lanes per direction with sound walls. Expected to run 3 years, expected to be made in 3 years. The $139 million project started in 2006. Knowing Florida, I would not be surprised if they have more ideas or updates with express lanes, especially that it's Florida. I wouldn't be surprised if they do more with I-295. I-295 provides access to the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens, to Jacksonville Beach, the St. Augustine Lighthouse and Museum, Port of Jacksonville, and the Port of Fernandina. I'll put that down in the video because I cannot say that word. It has some cool interchanges with Florida 202. Hopefully I'll add a picture right there somewhere. And Interstate 10. And the south interchange with Interstate 95, which is my favorite on this beltway. And I actually saw this in person. Now what I like about this beltway, because I'll probably have the map right here, is that it's really just, it's like it plays so much, like it just looks perfect on it when I look at the Jacksonville map. So I pretty much like it. Hope you guys like it. That's why I put it as number 5, and we'll be moving on to number 4. Number 4, Interstate 485, Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's go a few hundred miles north of Florida to Charlotte, North Carolina. North Carolina is an underrated state with a few major cities such as Durham, Greensboro, and Raleigh. Hopefully I said all those cities correctly. However, Charlotte is the most populated with over 900,000 residents with a growth rate of 1.3 annually by 2024 and has a metropolitan area of 2,600,000 residents. Interstate 485 is a 66.68-mile-long auxiliary interstate highway looping around Charlotte, North Carolina. Serves as a bypass route for Interstate 77 and Interstate 85, and a commuter route for Mecklenburg County suburbs. The Beltway connects with suburban areas such as Matthews and Pineville. Motorists use I-485 to bypass heavily traveled surface streets and reach outlying portions of Charlotte's landscape. It was planned in 1975 but did not start construction until 1988 due to some controversy. That was the Beltway being built. I didn't elaborate that on. The Beltway opened in stages to June 5th, 2015, when the last section opened to traffic. The American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, AASHTO, approved the final length of the Beltway as Interstate 485 on May 15, 2015. It was originally planned as a 4-lane highway, but at the time it was released, it had over 100,000 motorists, so it became a 6-lane highway. Now that's pretty impressive to think it took so long for them to add another lane. That's how I see it as. And when I was looking through to actually find which one should, I had a list of interstates in my mind when I was making this, and I did some research on this one. I'm like, you know what? I'll put that over Jacksonville. I'll move it up. And that's why. I actually elaborate more coming up. Now, this beltway does not have the most impressive interchanges. However, from the map perspective, I like how on the north it is more of a bypass, and on the southeast side it is more of a suburb connection, and it does not look too close to Charlotte's downtown. And that is why I chose it, Interstate 485 over Interstate 295. It has a more meaningful impact to the region than Jacksonville. And yes, Jacksonville has much more better interchanges, but I think the Charlotte one has better traffic flow. I've never been on the Charlotte Beltway before. I have been on the Interstate 295, Jacksonville's Beltway. So yeah. Coming up for number 3. This one is not an interstate. And if you're a highway nerd, you probably might know where this one might be going. But remember, it has to be a full loop, and that's why this one's on this list. Number 3, Sam Houston Tollway, Texas 8. Sam Houston Tollway Parkway is a 87.84 long beltway looping around Houston, operated by the Harris County Toll Road Authority, HCTRA, and the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT. The toll portion uses all electronic toll collection. There is 2 other beltways, one being closer to the heart of Houston, which is Interstate 610, and Texas Route 99, which is further out, and that would be on the list, but I'll explain that later. If that beltway was completed, it would be number 1, and that is Texas Route 99. But because it is not fully looped and it's not complete, I think it might be complete. I need to actually check back. But, I mean, they didn't connect the whole thing, so I can't count it. I cannot add it on my list. Also, Beltway 8 has speeds that are from 55 miles per hour to 75 miles per hour. The fastest Beltway speeds on my list. Houston is a very populated city with 2.3 million residents and a metropolitan area of 7.31 residents. It makes sense for all the highways and beltways it has in its region, and I'll show a map on the screen. You can pay on this beltway by Easy Tag, Text Tag, Toll Tag, and Pike Pass, and K Tag and this was from 2023. First envisioned by the city of Houston planners. Wait, let me redo that. First envisioned by City of Houston planners in 1952, funding for construction of Sam Houston Tollway was the result of a $900 billion bond vote for Harris County passed in September 1983. The tollway was opened and constructed in different segments. The last 11 miles of the South Belt, west from SH-288 to the Southwest Freeway, opened ahead of schedule on May 4, 1997. The northern eastern portion of the Sam Houston Tollway remained incomplete, with traffic utilizing the Beltway 8 frontage and road system for another decade. The $400 million 6-lane roadway opened at 5 a.m. on February 26, 2011. Design work for the 13-mile segment was finished on April 2009. It has so many impressive interchanges with Interstate 69, 45, Interstate 10, Route 290, State Route 288, and so many more. I can show another map of how big it is. It serves as a bypass for main routes and connects the suburbs of Houston are some images that will wow you of this highway. And there you go. Now, number 2, Capitol Beltway Interstate 495, Maryland and Virginia. And it's had a bit of DC. I know that Sam Houston is probably better than I-495. But because I live in the DMV, I've never been on the Sam Houston tollway, I'm putting I-495 ahead, okay? Like I said, my list, I know it might be some glazing, but I-495 is better. Capitol Beltway was planned around the 1940s. The first section of the 64-mile-long loop, including the Woodrow Wilson Bridge over the Potomac River, was opened on December 21st, 1961. The highway was completed on August 17th, 1964. That's actually really impressive. 3 years to make. Okay, I just want to keep that up. 3 years. With fact, the Capitol Beltway was designated as Interstate 495 until 1977, when I-95 was applied to the eastern half of the freeway between Springfield, Virginia, and College Park, Maryland. People did not like the two different interstate numbers, so I-495 shows were added back on the Eastern Beltway again in 1989. And the eastern signs, like on the east side of the Beltway, was I-495 and I-95, like just combined. So I'm going to try to explain this a little bit better. I don't like how I just said that. The west side of the Beltway, when you see the I-95, was just all 495, and then 95 took over the eastern side because in 1977, DC didn't want 95 to go through DC. So what happened is they changed it from 495 on the eastern side to 95, but then back in, or what year did I say? 1989, they just added 495 back on the eastern side. So yeah, hopefully I explained that a little bit more better now. And yeah, and let's go to the next part. With more population growth and homes, with businesses and sports and colleges and other entertainment, I-495 traffic grew. It provides a connection to the suburbs. Remember, DC has a metropolitan area of 6.3 million residents. It has express lanes in the Virginia portion. This beltway has interchanges with I-95, 270, 66, and 295. It has this spectacular interchange with I-95 and 395, which is just a masterpiece. And it is called the Mixing Bowl, if you live in this area. See? Hopefully you guys understand why I put that as 2. Showing you guys, I hope I'll show you guys some good pictures or maps or anything. Now, honorable mentions to interstates: I-270 around Columbus, Interstate 435 in Kansas City. It just has too many highways all over the place for a metropolitan area population of over 2 million residents. And then I have another one, I-275, that goes around Cincinnati and goes into 3 states: Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. But I did not really see a need for a beltway that size. And the last 3 honorable mentions are in Texas, with Interstate 610 in Houston, just too small for the population it has now. State Route 99 just has to be completed, and Interstate 410 that goes around San Antonio, and this one was the closest one to passing Jacksonville's beltway, but because State Route 130 goes to Austin, it is easier to stay on the main route than hop off of it. Which means that I don't really see the need for the beltway of San Antonio. That's what I'm just pretty much trying to say. And then, yeah, I'll be going into my number 1. And I think if you guys know, it is in Atlanta. Interstate 285. Interstate 285 is a loop around the city of Atlanta through Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton counties in northern Georgia. Hopefully I said that correctly, all those cities. The most urban route runs north to south through western reaches of the city while entering East Point, College Park, Forest Park, Doraville, and Sandy Springs. Originally intended to allow through traffic to bypass the city The freeway is heavily used by local traffic as a result of suburban growth. Traffic has gotten so bad that there are ideas of building another Beltway, but it never happened. Atlanta now has a metropolitan population over 6 million. 6 million. There are express lanes on this Beltway. It has interchanges with Interstate 75, 85, 20, Route 19. One of the best interchanges being the Tom Moreland interchange with the spaghetti. And with the spaghetti, I mean by like, it's literally like spaghetti. As cool as this Beltway is, the traffic on this highway can get extremely bad. About 200,000 cars drive 13 miles of the Beltway. So every 13 miles, 20,000 cars. I think that's what I meant. When I looked it up, I was a little confused in the beginning. But that's a lot of cars. Even though this is my favorite Beltway, it still has some issues. Just most of them. Well, it has some issues. I don't know if I said most of them. It still has some issues, but yeah. So that's my number one. Hopefully you guys like it. I didn't need to really explain much. There's other probably videos of people talking about Interstate 285 and a deeper history. I didn't really want to. Don't want to make this video too long. My conclusion now. Didn't need to say all that. Thank you for watching my first ever geography or highway analyst video. Tell me how much you like this or recommend me any tips in the comments. I am planning on making more videos like these because I kind of like this. I really enjoyed it, this one. I'm using CapCut to edit this, so yeah, feel really happy about that. And yeah, peace.